Good afternoon. My name is Jay. Here's Victor, our principal migration agent. We will be discussing about recent NSW updates about their occupation list, the eligibility criteria, and everything. So basically, if we look into these things generally, so it looks like very promising.
Yeah, and the ACT, the NSW, I keep on saying ACT. Yeah, so the NSW criteria was announced last Sunday, over the weekends. Both 190 and 491 criteria had been released to the public. What we can find, the major difference this is here, I would think it's about 491. 190 remain pretty much the same, which I will explain later.
Okay.
491 so far seems very straightforward. And compared to last year, I think the major difference, the biggest difference is all those invitations will be issued by NSW government rather than those we call RDAs, so regional agencies. The regional agencies have no involvement this time for the first step about the invitation. So all the invitations will be issued by NSW government, normally referring to NSW Treasury.
Okay, so as I said, it looks so promising, it looks so good, and it looks so easy, and people can literally apply from anywhere in Australia. So he will tell us about what is the truth. Is it really promising? Is it really good? And on the basis of this one, I have gathered few questions been asked from our friends and everybody from Facebook and through other media.
Let's go through the question first.
Let's start with the question. NSW has recently updated its occupation list and eligibility criteria. Is there anything positive for people living in Canberra? Because we live in Canberra, and of course we get the question from people living around here in Canberra. Is there anything good for people living in Canberra?
First of all, there's two things we're talking about. First of all, if it's for 190, NSW 190 visa, the current requirement is you need to be residents in NSW. So if you're currently living in Canberra, the answer is no, unless you consider move to NSW for a certain period of time and need to be at least 3 months. So you need to resign, you have to be a resident in NSW for 3 months before you can even apply for the EOI. Or you can apply for EOI actually in the system, but considering to be invited and meeting the criteria, you need to be at least living in NSW regions for 3 months of time. That's for 190. And one interesting things we're actually going to talk about is Queanbeyan. Okay, Queanbeyan is a place belong to NSW. So technically speaking, if you live in Queanbeyan for 3 months, then you want to apply for the NSW criteria. Yes, you can 3 months later.
Okay, so we will go to Queanbeyan topic later. Maybe.
Sure. That's one thing. Second thing is occupation list, and if you're talking about people living in Canberra, for 190, I just explained. For 491, they divide it into stream 1, stream 2, and stream 3. Stream 1 it's the answer is no. You have to be in regional for 12 months of time. Stream 2, you need to be graduates. That is possible if you could just graduate within the past 24 months from the regional NSW institution. That is a possibility. Even you are in Canberra now, that is a possible. And for stream 3, which is a lot of people talking about, for stream 3, the requirement is very, very easy. Simply asking you to have a skill assessment on the list. Then you can apply. But we'll go back to stream 3 later because it's too easy. So the chance of getting invited is not actually very, very high, because I'll explain these selection criteria the government suggesting by NSW.
Okay, so I have another question. So that is applicable for few people living around here. Can I get invitations from both NSW and ACT and choose one of them?
Yes, technically speaking, definitely. You can apply for both states nomination. You can apply for different system. In ACT, we know you have to apply for a metric system. In NSW, for 190, all you have to do is just create an EOI form and take NSW as an option. If your points merely means the EOI point is high enough, the NSW government might inviting you. That's just based on EOI. And then for NSW 491, they ask you to create the EOI. Of course, take NSW 491 as option, and in the meantime submit expressive interest form. And if you get invited again, you can apply to NSW for 491. So that's a possibility for both of them getting invited. But the way to do it is just create two different EOI. Okay. So within the same EOI, I wouldn't suggest you going choosing NSW and ACT at the same time. It just confuse each state government what is your preference. But currently, according to even to the legislations and the protocols, they're not preventing you. The government, the system, not preventing you to have 2 different EOIs.
Okay, so for easy process,
2 EOIs.
2 EOIs
separate.
Okay. Is this eligibility criteria and nominate an occupation list valid for rest of the time this financial year, or they're going to update in regular basis like in Canberra? They do it for once in 4 months.
Well, first the thing is NSW. We're talking about NSW. NSW never been stable in the past 3-4 years. Every year they have something creative. That's what I'm saying. Last year, you know all those 491 allocations was designed for RDA. So RDA have the power to issue invitation. So, and the year before last year, it was the Treasury in NSW in charge of the invitation. So, and this year they're taking the power back to NSW again. So you will see in the past 3 years, it's been going NSW government, which is Treasury in Sydney. They do the invitation. Last year it's RDA do the invitation for 491. This year again, it's Treasury in Sydney doing the invitation. It's kind of like one this year, one year this way and 1 year that way. I don't know if they are battling in certain way or whatsoever. So that's how the system works. So I was saying NSW never been stable. In terms of occupation list, I would say this is probably the occupation list will remain in this financial year. But again, financial list, the occupation list is not really the thing you want to look into. It's about actually when we talk about NSW, what we care is will they actually issue invitations to the people on the list. That's what we care. Now we can see some of occupations on the list. This time there are actually a lot of occupation on the list, but we don't know how they're going to rank things, how they're going to prioritize them in terms of occupations. For example, we even see within a lot of regional area, you see accountants for 491. But will there be any invitation for accountant 491s? We don't know. But based on common sense and based and if you look at the current Australian migration situation, I would say probably the chance the accountant getting invited is much less than nursing occupations. This is just based on the sense.
Okay. So generally speaking, they are not as clear as Canberra about anything. No. So is it all about, so let's go to the nomination priority and this thing. Is it all about EOI points, or there are other priority criteria for applicants?
Yeah, I think so. For actually, I gave NSW government a call, which is the skill migration call yesterday. I got some confirmation by telephone. One thing for 190, yes, absolutely. If it's 190, it's all about points.
Okay.
So the higher points you have, and we talk about EOI points, as NSW do not have a system like metrics. So it's all about metrics points. So if you have higher points in a metric in the EOI system, and that is the EOI you submit to NSW government, you have a higher chance to be invited. For example, if you are computer major, or, and maybe designers or architects, then if you have 90 points and the other only got 60, 90 points would definitely be prioritized on the list. But again, one thing we don't know, and the government not really telling the public, is how would they divide in the numbers between different occupations. We can see there are a lot of occupations, even for 190, a lot of occupations, and they were dividing into 3 groups: managers, professionals, and trades. How would they dividing the numbers among these? We don't know. But probably it will be in line with the ideas of which occupations are actually strongly needed in NSW. If based on that common sense, probably again you have to look at the quite critical occupations suggested by the Department of Home Affairs. That is probably IT majors and some of the health sectors, some engineers. But accountant, I would doubt about it. They're not going to issue a lot of invitation to accountants. It's just how the pictures look like for 190. That's one thing. It's all about EOI points. When we talk about 491, we realize there are string 1, string 2, and string 3. The answer I got yesterday is they will prioritize string 1 for sure. The criteria for string 1 is people living in regional area for 12 months and have relevant employment for 12 months. So if saying somebody have been living in regional area for 12 months as a accountant and working as a accountant in regional area, then you go to string 1. You don't go to string 3, you go to string 1. And if that's the case and your points is pretty high, there's a very good chance you probably get invited. That means you have satisfy the criteria for stream 1 for 491, leaving regional for 12 months, have 12 months relevant employment. That's stream 1. So what they're going to do, they're going to prioritize all the stream 1. Let's say, because the application it's open to the public now, and they might close anytime. This is August. They say they're going to keep August as the opening window. And also, when it comes to the period of opening time, they don't give you an exact day. I asked them, would this going to open for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or the whole August, which is 4 weeks? They say, we don't know. Probably we'll see.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people apply the application now. Maybe they will close in 2 weeks. If that's the case, let's say 2 weeks later, the whole window closed, and they're in the system, which is in NSW. NSW actually look into the system and they see 2,000 applications within 491. What they're going to do, they're going to click the system if they have a system, and then they're going to prioritize all those stream 1 applicants, and then maybe they were dividing occupations and points. After they issue the invitation to stream 1, they will go to stream 2. Stream 2 is the recent graduate within the 24 months. After stream 2, they go to stream 3. So stream 3 is the least protected groups within 491 group. That is very clear message sending by the NSW government.
Okay, so can I add one small question in this? So I have a just small doubt, because if people are living and working in NSW in their nominated occupation, they go to stream 1. Why they wouldn't apply for 190? 491 is 491.
You get a better points. You get a higher points. And
that's 15 points.
That's 15 points. That's one reason. Second reason is 190 probably more competitive. So it just give you an option. Maybe you can take 190 and 491 at the same time.
Oh, okay.
That's something.
So I had another question. You have actually already replied. There will be 4 submission window during August, October, January and March.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and how long for the window will be open, and a specific duration date?
There was no specific date. That's something, as I'm saying, NSW never. It's just their tradition. That's how they do things, because it's popular. It's the most popular state in Australia, and they have the most numbers, the biggest number of applicants all the time. So they actually don't really care about those details. So they're not going to give you a day saying the 1st of August will be the day of the window opens, and the 1st of October would be the day of opens, and then the window going to open for 14 days, and we're going to close, and then we're going to start to issue invitations 2 weeks later. They just give you a very rough idea. That is, there will be a window during August. Now is August, where they actually know it's the beginning of August. How long will it last? We don't know. Maybe for 2 weeks, maybe for 3, maybe for the whole month. And then after that, they're going to close the window, which means you cannot clicking into the expression. Okay. What happened is they're going to, and then the system going to have certain number of applicants, and what they do, they're starting to assessing the criteria. But one thing they're telling you is, once the window been closed, let's say the day is the 20th of August, it take about 7 days. Well, so within that 7 days, you're going to start to see. After 7 days, you're going to see invitations. It takes 7 days to look in the system, starting to select people and issue invitation. If you look at invitation, that's fine. Your application is still staying in the system. You can wait until next time, which is probably August. Again, they open next window October, maybe the 1st of October, and open for another 20 days again. And 20 days later, maybe at the end of October, maybe 27 or 28, they will issue a second round of invitation, and let's see if you get invited. If not, your invitation still stay in the system, because EOI never gets expired. Making sense?
Yeah, okay. So for people who may have multiple positive skill assessments, is it possible to apply from all of those, or they have to stick to one?
You have to stick to one. That's something I read through the requirement on the website, and as I mentioned, I gave a call to the skill team in NSW yesterday. They keep on telling the agents to tell the clients, do not submit multiple applications, even you have different occupations. Just stick to one. When you go to the express of interest form, you can only choose 3 regions. Stick to just choose 3 regions. Don't do 2 applications and 3 here and 3 here. They warning the applicants that if they find the duplications of the applicants and both application will be removed from the system. I don't know how they do it, but they keep on warning you, don't do that. I think that what they're trying to do is they don't want to see the system being being flooded
Yeah.
by meaningless applicants. Yeah.
Okay, so having 2 EOI, one for Canberra matrix and one for NSW,
That's not
is
a problem.
fine.
That's
fine.
It's fine.
But having 2 EOI for applying in 2 NSW regional areas, it's not fine.
You don't need to have 2 EOI for 2
Because
different
if somebody wants to apply for maybe six
occupations, well,
6 locations.
6 locations, you can't. You can only choose 6. One thing interestingly, I know some occupation. This is the list we're making. If you go for some occupations, simply saying take, even for accountant, for example, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. Accountant have 6 choices. You can only choose 3 rather than 6 because they only give you 3 options.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You can't. You can only choose 3. So even there are 6 places now seems to open to accountant major, but you can only choose 3. I get questions during these couple of days. Which 3 should I pick? That's a good question. My answer is I don't know actually. There was no indications which places will be more friendly to accountant major. But my suggestion is where are you lived? If you're living Canberra now, I'm probably suggesting to go for areas around Canberra, because in case they ask you the residency requirements, it's easier for you to commute to the place to make your residency. Some of the places, some of the regions, take Orana for example, it's going to take you 7 hours for driving. But Southern Inland, which is very close, Queanbeyan, 20 minutes. So you're probably going to choose those places around Canberra if you're living in Canberra.
And especially they are not allocating this number to this regional area.
No, this time last year we know there was numbers allocated to different regions, different RDAs. We even have the number told by the officer. This time there was no number. So one thing very interesting this year is all those RDAs actually waiting to be told how many people apply to them. Because what's going to happen is maybe after this run, the 2,000 people in the system, and then within the 2,000 places, 500 places go to Southern Inland, and the Southern Inland government going to be told, RDA going to be told, hey, within our system in Treasury, there are 500 people apply to you. And how many, then all those 500 people, if they say, 500 people meet the criteria, these 500 people are going to get invitations. And then Southern Inland have to take care of these 500 applicants. In the meantime, maybe there was 0 applications to Orana. Then Orana have nothing. So this time it's very interesting. It's all up to the applicant to choose the area rather than saying, the RDAs have the places to offer to the applicant.
Okay, so just for the clarification, because you have already given the answer for this one. It looks like people can apply for more than one NSW regional area at a time.
Yep.
Is it correct?
Yes.
If yes, how does it work?
As I mentioned, you're not going to do 2 applicant submissions. You do 1 submission. With the 1 submission, you have preference 1, preference 2, and preference 3. What I heard from yesterday is they're going to, again, this is preference. If you go for preference 1, and then it seems to preference 1 still have places for you, and they will issue invitation to preference 1. If preference 1 has been filled with places, that's something we don't know yet. For example, as I take accountant for example, Southern Inland only have 20 places for accountant, which is a number even Southern Inland don't know. That is all managed by Treasury in NSW. But within the system, if the Treasury in NSW can tell there are already 20 places, 20 accountant applicants to Southern Inland, they're going to choose all those preference 1. They're going to choose those with the preference 1, and then they will move to preference 2, something like that. And this is very well. The information, some of the information is lacking, either on the websites or even by the office. I actually called the NSW yesterday. The office is not very, very clear about the details.
They're not clear.
Yeah.
The submission window for August is open as of today.
I don't know. It's open now.
Yeah, it's open now. As of today, it's open, and I can't find anything like for the invitation round date.
There was no
next time. Do you have any idea?
No, that's what we're saying. Once the open window close, then 7 days later there will be the invitation.
So it's
randomly. It could happen. That's just following. You see when with the window being closed. I think with particular with the the such very, very simple criteria for stream 3, I think the open window will not last for 1 month. That's my idea. Probably will last for 2 to 3 weeks. That's it.
So window will be closed surprisingly, and you will get invitation.
After that.
So when people are applying under the category that they live and work in regional NSW, does the work need to be full time or part time is okay?
Again, there was no detailed requirements so far in terms of the requirement. Living in which one I'm talking about, the stream 1 or stream?
Yeah, living and working in NSW. So stream 1, they're working in nominated occupation. I don't see anything very clear as a part time.
No. Currently, it's not. There was no requirement. They're only asking you to say living in regional area for 12 months, and then working your close nominated occupation for 12 months. My understanding is you have to be working at least 20 hours a week. That's the requirement. General standard. Because that's also for the EOI purpose. You'll be able to claim any employments when you work for 20 hours. I think that the requirement will be 20 hours, at least 20 hours. That's it. And a lot of detail was not published on the website, actually.
Okay. And especially for people living in Queanbeyan, they might be eligible for both states, NSW and ACT. At the same time.
Yes.
So do you have anything specific to tell them?
But get back to the topic this time. I think what happened this time is it is a surprise. It is a surprise when NSW government have so many places to offer, particular for now, and they have around 3,800 places to offer. The way how they manage the system is so simple. Stream 1, it's not surprised. Last year it's the same, which I'm assuming not a lot of people will be able to get stream 1 because we're talking about living in regional area and working on nominated occupation meet both criteria for 12 months. I assume a lot of people actually don't meet the criteria, but if you do, that's very lucky of you because that's prioritized. Okay, you'll be prioritized. Stream 2, people graduate from regional area, I think, and institutions. We're talking about particular people graduate from University of Wollongong and University of Newcastle. If that's the case, they also give you a chance because they were talking about stream 3. And then stream 3 will be very, very competitive because once you have the skill assessment, you can apply. That means pretty much everyone can apply. Everyone pretty much can apply once your occupation is on the list. And then how would the NSW Treasury select the applicants within stream 1? The indication they gave is, again, EOI points will be the most important thing to consider. So if you have very, very high EOI points, of course considering 15 points, which everyone will get from for and nomination, and then your occupation is on the list, and you didn't get invited from the 189 visa, or you're not even think there's a possibility for 190 visa, and then you want to apply, there's probably a chance for you. But currently the window is open, the application is open to the public, and all you have to do is just submit your express of interest. And we do that because I know the chance, as I mentioned, the chance for stream 3 is not going to be that high. Not everyone going to get it, only a handful of people will get it. That's my conclusion, but you never know because the way how the NSW managing the system is very, very interesting. Sometimes at the end of financial year, they just give a lot of places to any people in the pool. So you don't want to lose the chance. You don't want to lose the possibility, even just 1 out of 100. 1% of chance you get invited. Why don't you submit express for interest? Particularly, there was no cost charged by the government. So that's something I would definitely suggest you to do. But before you're doing that, considering which places you go into, and considering the option to keep the option for ACT and NSW at the same time. What we do now is we do that for you. The cost is $300. We charge $300 for submitting the express for interest to NSW, either 491 or 190 for you. Just give you a hope, a chance for the if you ever get invited, it's the invitation. But the system now simply telling you have a chance. But we had to be realistic. Okay, don't put a lot of hopes in NSW. Just don't say, well, my occupation now is on NSW, so I'm going to give out the chance for. I'm going to give out all the preparation for ACT. That's probably not very wise because we don't know what's going to happen.
Especially when it's not that expensive. Not actually. They don't charge anything for you.
No.
So just give it a try.
I think most people give a try. Everyone gonna give a try. They just end up with a lot of applicants in the system.
And for my curiosity, I have one concern. Like people who are just living in NSW and working in there, they're not included in stream 1 and stream 2. If they are working in some other occupation, not in their nominated occupation. So what if people living in Queanbeyan and people living in ACT, they both apply at the same point?
For what? For stream 3?
Stream 3, because they will be in stream 3 if they're not working in the nominated occupation.
True.
Do you think they will be prioritized?
I did give
against this.
Again,
ACT.
this is something will be within the hands of NSW governments. The invitation rule now is about EOI points. So let's say your EOI points is very high. Both of your EOI points is the same point, 100 points or something, very high. Both of you get invited. Then it's up to Queanbeyan, which is RDA in Queanbeyan, Southern Inland RDA, to decide if they're going to take both of you or just one of you. I did give a call to the officer in Southern Inland. The officer suggesting they have preference if they don't have enough places to offer. But if they have enough places to offer, probably they're going to take both, because both of you have been receiving invitation from the Treasury. But invitation doesn't mean you will get nomination. It's not a guarantee. Okay, they're probably going to give a lot of invitations, and then just leave the RDA to choose which one do you like. That's probably the game. That's probably the game they're going to play this year.
So they're not definitely like ACT.
No. So the invitation does not guarantee the outcome. Okay, they're probably going to issue invitation to you, and then RDA say no, we don't want it. This is not the people we like, and RDA have the power to make the final decision saying nomination confirmed or nomination refused. That is a possibility. I confirm with the RDA. So what happens is, if your points is not very high and you have the chance, you have the possibility, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money, a lot of efforts, a lot of energies to live in regional area, again, the realistic suggestion would be still make your effort to live in regional area to make a strong connection. Because if you ever get invited by Treasury, and when you apply to the RDA, if one of the documents you can show to the RDA is I'm actually living in your region, I'm actually making my efforts, and you can emphasize on the effort, that definitely put your chance to be invited much higher than those people who are living in Melbourne. RDA definitely prefer people who is making the effort.
It looks like, I don't know, it's just my feeling. It looks like they will prioritize people depending on their English stand or English level.
That's the form.
Qualification.
True. That is a form. That is a form. When you fill the expressive interest form, you can tell a couple of elements. They asking for first of all is EOI points. So EOI points is the first thing they asking you. So EOI points is important. So if somebody have the same EOI points, and they again, if they have enough places to offer, they're going to issue to all the people. Otherwise, EOI points first, and the following criteria. I'm talking about Treasury, which is the NSW issue invitation. First thing EOI, second is English points, and then working experience, relevant working experience. If you have, let's say, two people who have the same point with as 100, and then one with the better English, more working experience, and they only have one place left. The one with better English and working experience will be invited. But if they have two places left, then both of you will be invited. This is just based on the role playing here is very similar to NSW 190, which they have been carrying for a long time. When it comes to NSW 190, that's how they apply. EOI first, English requirement, and relevant working experience. So this time they apply the same selections process to 190 selections, for the expressive interest. And that's this system how it works. But simply put, what I'm saying is, if you're meeting criteria 1, string 1, that's good. If you're meeting string 2, and I was still suggesting you to make your efforts. String 1, it's I won't say it's guaranteed, but it's just give you a much better chance to be invited. But if you're string 2, that means you graduate from, let's say, University of Newcastle last year, but now you're living in Canberra. I'm still asking you to make the effort to live in regional area. Give you a better chance when it comes to competition with the rest of string 2 applicants, which I don't know how many, and then that's your efforts. If you're string 3, you have to consider if your points is really high. If your points is pretty high, again, make your effort to live in regional area. it just looks better and give you more evidence when it comes to the actual nomination application to RDAs. Again, as I mentioned, this time RDA was not involved in the invitation. They even do not have a say, do not have the power to issue an invitation. Invitation issued by the system controlled by the Treasury, but they have the power to make the decision who get nomination.
Okay.
So once you get invitation from Treasury saying you apply accountant to Southern Inland and the case get invited, this case you have to apply to Southern Inland for the nomination, and then your case go to the officer in Southern Inland. He or she will have the power to say I like you or don't like you. So this is how you're going to do, not just the points, all the efforts you can make. It's for the second step rather than first step, because the first step you can't control the first step. You can't control the Treasury to invite you or not. But once you get invited, you want to make your best efforts you could to earn the endorsements from the RDA.
Okay.
This is how it
goes.
So
if they are in kind of trouble, they can prioritize your case.
I think so. If you have to send two applicants and they don't have a lot of places to offer, they're going to choose the better one.
Same time. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Victor.
No worries.
Thanks.
Okay.
And thank you for being with us. Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.